Welcome to Deborah's Generation. Deborah's Generation is a vision that believes that there is more to every lady in line with God's thinking, bringing them into a place of personal relationship and intimacy with God. It is designed for ladies to fuel their spiritual hunger for Christ, being limitless to their impact beyond homes. Deborah was a wife, prophetess, and a judge.
No excuses. Deborah arose. Our mothers have risen. You too can arise.
I'm telling you, the attack on the family system is so enormous that if you were just married on emotions, 100%, you could be out of the marriage institution before you understand the nature of the attack that hits that family. Categorically. Yeah. So it seems to me like the degree of discernment required in our age is different because Jezebel be looking like a daughter of Zion these days. It seems to me like the degree of discipline that is required is different because sexual obscenity be very audacious in these days. And if it was okay for a single man to be married so he does not burn, the manner of audacity of sin and obscenity in our age, it will not be enough to be married, not to burn. You had better be single and master not burning. You had better be single and walk in covenant. You had better be single and be sanctified. Amen and amen. He had better do that work where your faithfulness, your reason for not sinning is not because you don't owe anyone an explanation, but because your faithfulness has become an act of covenant to God. Do you see this? So even in the presence of temptation, it's not, I don't want to sin against my wife. It is, how will I do this evil thing and sin against God? I'm telling you. And the requirement of submission in a dispensation where the move of God on his daughters is at an unprecedented high. It's a privilege if you're single and God places his hand on you and you are sitting over a conglomerate. I'm telling you. And as unto the Lord, you are submitting that strength, those giftings, that vision, that capacity, that resource, that financial enablement as unto the Lord. So that in mastering submission as an act of consecration, a day does not come in your young marriage where you can analyze yourself out of obedience because you are looking at the immaturity of the person you're with. Because 100% the gaps will be apparent the closer you get. So, hey, the day you are able to say, okay, I know that you're messing this thing up, but I'll shut up. I know that we will both, or all of us together will suffer for this thing, but the Lord will honor the posture of submission that I'm taking. You see this? The day you are able to do it is ideally not the day you are in that fire. It's when you sing better than your HOD. You arrange music better. You were actually HOD in a way bigger assembly before you moved out of Port Harcourt to Lagos. You are preparing for this concert and you can tell that the way we are sounding will be a corporate embarrassment to the department. You can perceive it. And you are saying, we're not musically competent for this kind of songs. There are songs that some choirs are not competent for. I don't want to shout this, but you can tell that where we are, our evolution and our gestational cycle. We can't do this yet. We can't undo this. But the HOD, there's a vision in his spirit. He believes, okay, we can do this. So the day you are able to be seated there, not that you are pretending, but from who you are on the inside, you are saying there's an office here to be responded to. And on the account of the honor bestowed on that office, God will do what he will do. God will move so mightily. Nothing will go wrong. And his purpose will be accomplished. And when you are assigned your portion, you're not like, sir, I can't. You're there. You are rallying a troop within the team. You are calming down the fires. You are vesting confidence. You are insisting on honor. What a blessing for you as a single woman. What a gift from God. Because you are going to need those muscles that you're lifting. You're gymming, and God is setting things in your way that will speak for seasons to come. So in this equation of a great union, there is the manner of man. And I feel like there are some specific things for God's sons to pay attention to. There's a manner of woman. So let's say that work is going on. There's now a manner of marriage. There's a manner of union. There's a manner of coming together. You see this? The manner of coming together is a combination of a number of things, but I find three very striking. The kind of marriage you will build, that you ought to build, that God is calling you into, the kind that can give him the highest return on investment. Have we agreed on that foundation we laid? That God has an interest in the kind of marriage he seeks to make out of you and your spouse, and the kind of marriage he wants you to experience. Is that correct? I find a few things really remarkable when it comes to the manner of the union. The first is a revelation of God's purpose. It can't be guessed, it can't be assumed, and it can never be produced by head knowledge. In fact, it is one of the early invitations for a call to prayer, a call to corporate prayer, a call to seeking. Do you see this? The purpose of God in his heart over that marriage relationship. And you're not going to know everything at once, but there will be significant seasons. Some of them will come through a stirring in your heart. Let's build. Let's take this thing to the next level. Some of them will come because of agitations and shakings, where you can tell that there's a foundation to be revisited here. There's something God is calling us to. This is not pleasing. This is not satisfying. This is not where it should be. So whether it's a stirring or it's a shaking, seasons will invite you into the fresh pursuit of the heart of God. The heart of God. What is the purpose of God for this marriage relationship? A single person gets a chance to make the period of courtship their first installment into this revelation. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. Your courtship season is so rich, if done right, that there's actually no lacuna for temptation. I'm telling you, where you're now falling and crying and apologizing to God. Like, what are you doing? What is the manner of investment within that context? It's so rich. You could actually create what would I describe that? Like almost a year-long curriculum. If you wanted to cut for a year, what you could be studying and working on together every week for 52 weeks. I'm telling you, yes, that you'll be unpacking to the glory of God. Of course, I don't recommend anybody getting married in a shorter time than ideally 9 months. 9 months of dedicated. I know that there are people who are releasing their faith, to be married this year, so they're instantly counting like July, maybe introduction by December, but pace the thing out. Of course, there are always these prophetic exceptions. Is that Satope? I'm keeping a straight face. So there's all these prophetic exceptions, but in the presence of those, there will now be significant investments to be made as though you were courting even in the first year of marriage. Yes. And it can really augment so many things. So in manner of man, a manner of woman, right?